Yo, welcome back to the No Budget Podcast. It's Coughlin.
Yo, what's up, it's Kai.
And yeah, man, we're back in another video and there's been some good ass basketball, man. Let's just say that, right? The past I guess like couple days, right? It's just going crazy. And I guess like the only way to start off the whole show is like, gotta talk about, what's happening in March Madness with the Elite Eight, man. And the first matchup that we got going on here is LSU versus Iowa, right? And so, I know, we all, as you guys may not know, or you guys may know, Mekhi over here, he is an LSU sports fan in general, right? And so, he has some strong thoughts, strong takes, and I know I had some stuff to say, but I think we all know what you guys want to hear from. It's Mekhi, so you get the ball rolling, man.
It's it's been a lot, right? It's been a lot these past couple of days. Right. We usually record on Monday. Right now, we're recording on a Wednesday. I needed some time, right? I needed to find myself. I needed to, really figure out, right, like how strong of a fan am I, right? Because you're gonna go through moments like this where, in the third quarter, your team shoots, 5 for 26, right? Where it was a tie ball game going into halftime, right? A crazy layup by Flau'jae to tie the game up going into half, and quite frankly, we shit the bed. It was a lot of reasons why we lost this game.
Yeah,
but it was funny actually. At the ending of our last recording, me and Coughlin was talking off camera. He asked me, he was like, "What is the likelihood that you guys win if Caitlin Clark has 40?" And I told him, Caitlin Clark, obviously she's the best player in, women's college basketball, hands down.
Yeah.
So there's no real way of stopping her from scoring. But I told him, I was like, the key difference is her assist numbers. I said, if we can keep her to single digit assists, we win this game. We didn't do that. Right? Like it was, let's just dive into it. So again, 5 for 26 in the third quarter. Like we just could not hit a shot in the third. And it just seemed like every single time we wouldn't get a shot, Caitlin Clark would respond on the other end with a deep three, right? Demoralizing three.
Yeah.
We weathered the storm third quarter. We scored 13 points to Iowa's 24. We built ourselves a little bit of a hole. A lot of reasons, like, for example, Angel Reese, before she got hurt, she was shooting 6 for 8. There was an out of bounds play where, she rolled her ankle on one of the camera people on the sideline. After that, she wound up ending the game shooting 7 for 21. So you can do the math on that one, right? Where when your best player is not hitting shots, there's not much that you can really do. Hailey Van Lith. She's been the talk of the town recently on social media, and to a certain extent, deservedly so. But to be completely honest, a lot of that I put on coaching, because she was not playing good like the entire game, both offensively and defensively, and our coaches would not bench her. They just would not. I feel like Michaela Williams, she should have got more playing time. She was easily our best 3-point shooter. I also said this off pod. We are not a good 3-point shooting team.
Right.
A lot of our points come from in the paint, free throws, and Angel Reese, she missed 5 free throws. Again, Hailey Van Lith, it was really, again, where I say is coaching, and I said this, I was screaming at my TV the entire time. Why do you keep going under the screen? You have a flamethrower that you're guarding, and every single time you get hit with a screen, you go under. That's two things: both effort to fight over the screen, and that's coaching. Because if I'm a coach and I keep seeing you do this, I'm gonna pull you to the side. I'm gonna either tell you or pull you, but I'm not gonna keep letting you keep doing it. Caitlin Clark got off 20 threes by herself. She shot 20 threes. You're not going to win a game like that, especially playing against a player like Caitlin Clark. And again, when it comes to the assist numbers, a lot of it was just real easy points. Assists, layups, backdoor cuts. And a lot of that was both lazy defense, a lot of people watching the ball, not getting back in transition.
Yes.
But the bigger reason why is because our entire starting lineup was in foul trouble.
Yes.
Like the
Oh my
entire,
God.
like where, these girls are scared to, be aggressive on defense because they don't want to get ejected, right? They don't want to get fouled out. And again, when your best player is shooting 7 for 21, can't hit a shot, and then on defense, when your starting lineup has 17 of your team's 21 personal fouls, mind you, just our starters alone had more personal fouls than Iowa's entire team.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that like as a like to point my finger at the ref, because at the end of the day, the fouls were the fouls, right?
Exactly.
But the issue is, again, when you already dig yourself in a hole like this, and now you can't really play defense. Iowa was just playing with their food at that point. We went on a run in the fourth quarter, and a lot of that was because we finally decided to put Flau'jae on Caitlin Clark, something that we've been doing in almost every other matchup with Iowa. I don't know why we decided to change it up now. But you saw that, like, I believe the final 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, we switched Flau'jae on to Caitlin Clark, and both we slowed their offense down and our offense picked up. So a lot of this, when I think about it, I just think like, what if, obviously, but the reality situation is we came up short, and this is something that I've been saying just in general. I try, especially as a fan, I try not to get too caught up in the end result of the season and lose sight of the entire journey, right? This is an amazing season. From a fan perspective, there's not many fans can say that, oh, my team got to the final, we got to the Elite Eight, right? So to see that, coming off of a championship season, I couldn't ask for, a better 2 years besides going back to back.
Yeah. And yeah, man, like, just to go on off of that, like, because a lot of people after a certain result, they might go through, certain conclusions and stuff like that, right? And I think the conclusion you came up with this was perfect, man. Like, sometimes you gotta look on the bright side of things, right? Like, it's probably hard to say in the moment, but this is the reason why we took a couple days just to like reset and just like go through what actually happened, right? Just look at the season all to in a whole, right? From the beginning of the season to the middle of the season and to the end of the season, LSU had its ups and downs. Obviously in in our previous videos, we talked about how LSU getting basically unnecessary unwarranted hate, pretty much, right? You got people calling out Angel Reese because of certain things that GPA or whatever, all the stuff off the court, basically, right? Stuff like that, and the coach, everything, all the bunch, right? But even after all that, guess what? They still made a hell of a run, right? And so I guess for me, like dive into the game. I think when you look at the stats, look at everything there, right? I think the main thing, the main thing besides the shooting was the rebounding, right? I mean, I look at here. I mean, LSU obviously out rebounded. I predicted this. Like LSU would out rebound Iowa 54-36, but out of those 54 rebounds, 23 of them were offensive rebounds. And to think that out of those 23 offensive rebounds, you only put you made just like basically second chance points. Out of those 23 chances, extra chances, you were only able to convert maybe 4. That's horrendous. That is horrendous, right? And then it goes to show. I think you said one of the quarters, right? They went like, I think you said 4-26 or something like
5
that,
of
or
26 third quarter.
yeah, 5-26. That's like you can't do that, right?
No.
Because here's the thing, when you're able to get second chance points and you don't convert, that gives you not converting gives basically the other team another chance.
Yep.
Essentially, right? And honestly, in my opinion, and I say this for football, right? Sometimes a turnover might not. It doesn't have to be an actual turnover on the play sheet on the stat sheet, right? A rebound. If you miss if you rebound, if you get a second chance point, if you don't put up points, that's a stop.
Yeah.
In my opinion, right? Same thing goes to football. If you get an interception but you don't convert, that's a turnover for the other team.
Yep.
Right? And so, I look at that and it's like, shooting, the rebounds correlates with the shooting. It makes total sense. Right? And, like you said earlier about Haley, obviously she didn't play a good game at all. Right? But I totally agree with you, man. Like, the coaching. What is going on? Are you telling me that Haley is the only one shadowing her the whole game? Like literally, she's shadowing her the whole game. You can't tell me Haley's going to do that. First of all, she's not even known to be a defender. She's not. She's known to be an offensive scorer, right? But here's the thing: when you ask a scorer to defend the hottest and women's college basketball player right now, right? And probably ever, we get in debate of that, but you ask her to do that, it's literally chasing a fucking chicken.
Yes.
At that point, right? And when you use all that energy and all that stamina on defensive end, you're barely going to have anything else on the offensive end, barely, right? And maybe you can pick the pieces about that, but it just wasn't set up right. It just wasn't set up right. I mean, you look from the starting five. Yes, they all got a good amount of points besides Haley, right? But I just think that when you look at it, Reese and Flau'jae, they were carrying hard, man. Like you're talking about, and this is the thing though, what people gotta understand when LSU walk away from this game is that Angel Reese put her whole career on the line. Like 17 points, 20 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks, and this was with an injury, right? And so it's commendable to that, and then Flau'jae, of course. Come on now. Their best. You can arguably say their best player of the season. You can argue that, in my opinion, right? And so 23 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, one assist, 3 blocks. But at the end of the day, it always goes back to Iowa. What are Clayton Clark's teammates going to do, right? And I can tell you what they did. I could definitely tell you what they did because there are other 2 players that that showed up. Kate Martin and Sydney Offalter, right? Kate Martin got 21 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. Offalter 16 rebounds, 5 rebounds, right? And obviously you got Clayton Clark, man, 41 points, 12 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block. That and it's funny, like you said, like I asked you this, and after the pod was over last time, and getting for you was like maybe 60-40, 60-40 around that range that I will win, right? But I think an interesting stat that I saw,
if she had 40,
if she had 40, right? If she had 40, but no, an interesting stat that I saw was that they put up a chart of Martin and Offalter, her two teammates, what they were averaging against top 25 opponents, in the regular season. And in the play, obviously the NCAA tournament, right? It's all top 25. Martin, she went from 11.5 points a game to 18 points a game. You got Offalter going from 4 points a game to 16 points a game, right? And so it's literally all Iowa needs is just at least one other person to get a good amount of points.
Yep.
Right? And it just goes from there. Because we all know Clark. She's bound to go off. I mean, look, look what happens when LSU is not making shots in the third quarter. What happens? Clark just erupts for like 4 threes in the third quarter early on.
Yep.
And it puts you in a deficit, and it's like, like you said, fouls and all that. It's just so hard when you can't play defense, when you have like literally you get one more foul, you're out.
Yep.
Pretty much, right? And so
Yep.
and that's literally the whole lineup. That's literally the whole lineup.
I mean, in you made really good points, right? Like where you talk about, again, going back to the coaching of it all. It's like, I could understand you not wanting to put Flau'jae on Caitlin Clark because, again, you want her offensive ability, but you gotta throw, like, with a player like Caitlin Clark, you gotta throw her different looks. Now, you can't give her the same look all game. You gotta mix it up. You gotta choose your spots. Another thing, we talked about the offensive rebounding. Like, I mean, we're just a bigger, more physical team, so we're bound to get more rebounds, especially with a player like Angel Reese on our team. But the reason why I don't really care about the rebounds is, I believe there was one possession where I forgot who put up the shot. Somebody put up a shot. We got the old board, put up a shot. We got the old board, put up a shot. Got the old board, put up the shot. Then Iowa got the rebound. And that was kind of the antithesis of the third quarter, where we couldn't hit anything. I'm not talking mid-range jumpers. I'm not talking threes. I'm talking about layups, point blank at the rim. We were just smoking them. And when I was watching this, that's where I was like, okay, this is probably the end. You know what I mean? Where a team that predominantly scores in the paint, if we can't score in the paint, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's what we saw, where if we convert half of those offensive rebounds into layups, we win this game.
Yes.
Right?
By a mile.
By a mile. And we're not talking about, hitting threes, and we're talking about layups.
Yeah.
Something that you've been doing since you were young.
And mind you, like, what's it called? Just to emphasize for you guys, 23 offensive rebounds. That means 23 extra possessions. 23 extra shots. And you only convert 4 of them, pretty much.
Convert 4.
That's insane, man.
We had almost the same amount of offensive rebounds as they had total rebounds. So, like, to blow something, and this is something that, I noticed during the game, and, even the announcers, mentioned it, where obviously these girls were gassed, right? Like, the pace of which this game was played at, they were going 100%, in the first quarter, second quarter. So by the time we got to the third, it was on both sides of the ball. Everybody was tired. But that's sports. You know what I mean? It's the war of attrition.
Yeah.
Right? This is why you have conditioning days. This is why you put in extra work after practice. So when you get into moments like this, you're still focused.
Yep.
You get into situations like this, your body takes over, right? Where you've been making these moves so routinely that even when you're tired, you can still hit a layup. You can still hit a three. You can still hit a free throw. Right? If you're not practicing, obviously I'm not in their practices. I don't know what they're doing or what they're not doing. But just speaking on to this point, if you're not practicing tired, you're not practicing right.
Yeah.
If you stop practicing the moment you get tired, you're setting yourself up to failure, because in a game, you can't just get tired and be like, okay, I'm done for the day. No, you got to keep playing.
Exactly.
So you have to train yourself while you're gassed. You have to, get up shots while you're tired, right? It's actually kind of funny. I was watching a recent video with JJ Redick, and he said it, like, where him and the episode with him and Ray Allen, and they both said, like Ray Allen would say, like, he would run like the full length of the court before shooting, because he said that's what you do, right? You play defense, you got to get back, and you still got to, get into your offense. So why are you just doing set shots? Like, yeah, that's cool, but try to practice at, the speed that you play at. So again, I have not been in, obviously, LSU's training camp, but that would be an explanation as to why these girls are so tired by the time we hit the third quarter. Where again, you're missing routine layups.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about reverses. I'm talking about simple offensive rebound putbacks off the glass, smoking them.
Yeah, and I think staying on that point of just coaching and like conditioning and all that, right? I think like you're going back to the defending Clark, right? You got to throw throwing different looks, right? I feel like you guys did that, but you guys did it too late, way too late, right? Because I think it was like late in middle of the fourth or early like a little bit early in the fourth. I think you guys called a timeout, and then out of that timeout, I just saw wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are blitzing Clay and Clark. You guys are, doing things like that here and there, right? It's like, wait, where was this in the quarters 1 through 3? What was this, man? Where was this? Right? And it goes, and it's like, wait, oh wow, they finally got a different defender instead of Haley, right? Because like at times, I just felt that like again, you can't have just Haley guarding her the whole night. Literally, it was just her, shadowing her the whole night, right? And sometimes, Clay and Clark, she's a smart basketball player, so she'll try to find a way to get an ISO. She'll find a way, right? And you can't do that. You literally can't. Like literally, there's the meme of her, going for a step back 3, and then Haley turning around. She's like, "What you want me to do?" Right?
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like she's trying her. I believe she is trying her best, right?
Oh, 100%.
But like you like when a coach puts you in that situation, you're not set up to succeed. You're failing. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail, especially like I said, I guess a player like that, right? That could shoot it from fucking out the parking lot, like that. It's just insane, right? For the coach, LSU coach to not make adjustments earlier on, right? And but here's the thing. I'll say this though, maybe it was like it happened like a couple times for Iowa, but like ball watching, right? I think it was the one also on a fast break where Clay and Clark they passed it to Clay and Clark on a outswing pass, and then she was going literally three defenders stopped and watched Clay and Clark, but then easy assist backdoor cut, right? It's like you can't do that. You can't, right? It's like it's one thing to like key on the the main player, right? But it's another thing to like not lose track of your assignment, right? Because at the end of the day, your main job is to do your job.
Do your job,
right? Like if it comes to like look, if it does come down to ISO, it's an ISO, right? As long as you don't give up. Here's the thing: you can't give up open shots because Iowa is a very good 3-point shooting team, right? So you can't do that. So if you're able just to contest against Clay and Clark, that's the best you can do in that situation, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, it just goes back to the coaching, right? I think because it was just very confusing how it was set up, because last year when they played in the national championship,
totally different.
It was different. Like I just don't understand. And you need to remember, these are the same players. Nothing really changed. I mean, mainly just getting Haley, but they're using her as. Here's the thing: you're not using her to her full capability. She's an offensive player, but you're just using her to defend. That's not gonna cut it. That's like saying like, oh, I'm gonna use I don't know, like fucking like Terry Rozier, our Terry Rozier, go guard LeBron for the whole night. Why? What?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Or Curry or whatever, right? You can't do that. You can't.
No,
right?
No, in it's like you said, like you left her out on an island.
Yeah,
and that's where I ain't gonna lie. In the game, I was pissed, and I was pissed at her.
Yeah,
but as I said, and I thought about it, like, yes, you can question effort, you can question all this and that, but the bottom line is, what is a coach's job? The coach's job is to put the players in the best position possible. Our coach did not do that, right? Another thing, where to be honest, I could live with Haley getting cooked 1-on-1 by Caitlin Clark. What I can't live with is how many wide open layups that these girls got on backdoor cuts. I can't
Mm-hmm.
live with that. I would much rather have Caitlin Clark shoot a contested 35-foot 3-point shot than you motherfuckers giving up wide open backdoor cuts. And I'll end this topic with this. What frustrates me the most, or what makes me the most sad, is that obviously there was a big decision if we lost this game, right? Where is Angel staying? Is Angel going? And she decided to declare for the WNBA draft. All respect to her. I obviously wish her nothing but the best and the best of luck. But now, LSU finds himself in a very, interesting position going into next season, right? Where you just lost your best player.
Yep.
How do you respond? How do you bounce back, right? Obviously going into next season would be over a year removed from a championship run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still got a couple players that are from that championship run, but I guess, at that point, it's forward, man. It's your time to shine, right? You are the number one player on this team, so it'd be very interesting to see, both how Angel, takes her talents to the league, but also how this team responds, next season. But either way, two amazing basketball teams, amazing game. By the way,
Yes.
I believe it was like 13 million viewers watching
Yeah.
it. Crazy, man. Like,
Yeah.
again, where we talk about this is the evolution of the game, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
either you jump on a train now or you get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, not a single person I've heard that watched this game said that it was a disappointment or not entertaining. So,
Yeah, man. Just the heart. Just a shout out, which basically what you said. Like, it was a very great game, very
mhm.
great game, right? I think like I said, like coming to Monday before Monday, right, into the Elite Eight games, right, against LSU and what's it called, Iowa, and another game where we're going to talk about soon. The basketball fans won, right? Basketball fans won. Like, there's nothing more for a basketball fan to see two teams go at it.
Yep.
Blow after blow after blow, right? And obviously you got an electrifying player in Clark, right, and Angel Reese. Don't forget about
Mhm.
that, right? And so shout out to LSU, shout out to definitely Iowa moving on to
Yep.
to the Final Four, right? Against the matchup we're gonna have to talk about now, and let's get right into it. UConn versus USC, right?
Mhm.
And obviously UConn, they won against USC, and honestly, an interesting fourth quarter to say at the very least. They won by 7 points, 80-73. I think my main takeaway from all this is that UConn just has more firepower,
Mhm.
right, all around,
Mhm.
right. Like when you look at the box score, when you look at the shots put up, right, you got Juju Watkins and Forbes putting up like what I think 20 shots or so each, or around the same, right? Something like that. And then you got others combining to a total of like 20 themselves. Like, and they didn't shoot good either. So it's very, very frustrating. Juju Watkins, she put on a show. Let's say that, right? She put on a show. 29 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks. A steal, an assist, right? And you got Forbes. She shot 15 threes, right? Made 5 of them, right? So 15, she got 24 points, but 15 points were threes, right? So she was trying to do her best, right? And so, but when you got a UConn team who's coming in hot, right? You got Paige Beckers, who's, I think, in my opinion, and Kai kind of alluded to this in a prior video where Paige, she was Clay Clark before Clay Clark. Like, don't
Mhm.
get that twisted. I think people forget quickly, and this goes for any player around sports, is that when they're at the top of their game and they go out for 2 years or a certain period amount of time, people forget about them for some reason,
Yep.
right? Like Paige coming to college basketball for women's, she was a baller. She's a
Mhm.
baller, man. And I think she's rightfully getting healthy and rightfully trying to take back that throne, right? And what other better way to talk about, like, Paige Becker becoming, it was Clayton Clark before Clayton Clark, then playing against Clayton Clark, right? And so Paige, she put up an insane stat line of her own, right? 28 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. That's an all around game right there, man. Right, but but here's the thing: you can have another teammate. They can consistently put up 20 points in Aaliyah Edwards, right? But then you got a defensive monster in Mule, right? Mule on the defensive. Honestly, I knew that they were good offense, but the defensive end, man, Mule 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 1 block.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That right there, like I don't want to compare her to this player because she's not really this player, but just in terms of like, the play style in a way, it's kind of like Draymond Green-esque in a sense. Like she's doing things, playmaking, but also getting it done, the dirty work on a defensive end.
Led the team in assists.
Right. Exactly. And so it just goes to show that like UConn is just more. They just have more depth, right? And it sucks, right? But USC, they tried, and I think this is a very successful season for them. So yeah, man.
Yeah, 100%, right? No matter what, if you're a USC fan, if you're a basketball fan, one of the takeaways is, Juju Watkins is a very young, talented girl, man. Like, we're projected in 2-3 years, like, just to see from her first game to now, just how much, progression. But, I feel like the name of the game was, UConn's been here before, right? They're a veteran team, veteran coach. USC was a very young team, not a lot of, playoff experience. And that showed at times, right? Where a couple bad shots, a couple bad decisions, just on the team comparison, it's hard to win a game when you're shooting 32% from the field. You know what I mean? Like where it was a lot of it was just a talent discrepancy, like you said, where Juju was in a position where she had to shoot the ball. Who else was going to, right? Yeah. So, Paige Becker's baller, the model of consistency. You know what I mean? Like you just said, all around game. I feel as though, all respect to Caitlin Clark, I feel like Paige Beckers is the most complete basketball player in women's college basketball. She can do everything, literally everything, both on offensive and the defensive end. So this matchup going forward with Iowa and UConn will be a very interesting. Honestly, I expect it to be a chess match, right? Where I'm curious, what's UConn's attack for Caitlin Clark, and I'm curious what's Iowa's attack against UConn's defense, right? Where UConn, they play very good defense. They don't make a lot of errors. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't foul a lot. So, like we said, like with the Iowa LSU game, can Caitlin Clark's teammates continue this streak?
Yes.
Can they continue this hot streak? Right? Because if not, I feel as though UConn is a well-oiled machine. Where they can score a lot of points with Paige not going off for 50. Right? Not taking, 30 shots. She doesn't have to do that. So very, very interesting. I can see this game going a lot of different ways, right? It could be a defensive match. It could be very reminiscent of that one, or maybe it was like 2 playoff games against the Jazz and the Nuggets.
Yes.
Where every single game, Jamal Murray, Devontae, Donovan Mitchell was dropping 50 points. Like, we could see a duel like that, right? Which, listen, either way, I'll be watching.
I'll be here for that, man. Oh my god,
bro! But again, where you say, like, basketball fans, we're winning right now, both NBA and March Madness, both on the women's and men's side. Like, It is a lot of really good basketball being played right now. And listen, I'm very looking like the script writers couldn't have wrote it any better. Right? The script
Yeah.
writers could not have written it any better.
Mhm.
In either way, whether it's Paige Beckers in UConn or Caitlin Clark in Iowa, I'll put it to you like this. I'm very interested to see what they do against South Carolina because I just feel like South Carolina is going to the championship. Like they have proven they're the best team in college right now. So I'm very interested to see either one of those ladies. Like how do they handle a Goliath like that, right? But regardless, this game is going to be fireworks.
Yeah, and sticking on the topic of like very good basketball, let's take a little break from the college basketball and March Madness, and you like you said, basketball fans have been winning, and have we been winning in the NBA? And a matchup that just happened. And let's get right into it, man. I'm not gonna waste any time. Wemby versus Jokic, Nuggets versus Spurs. That was a crazy game. I'm pretty, if you guys didn't see anything on social media, I'm here to present it you guys. We got a sequence of Wemby guarding Jokic, Wemby taking it in on the offensive end, going on the defensive end, blocking Jokic, right? And then Jokic come back down again when he gets a chance, actually dunking. It's like, okay, he understands. He understands the magnitude of the matchup, right? And it was just so refreshing to see two guys that's like, I mean, Wemby, I know this is his first year. He's playing like a guy already in his prime, right? And obviously you got Jokic, 2-time MVP, Finals MVP, right? Who's in his prime right now, right? Trying to get a second chip, right? And so it's just so refreshing to see, a new blood versus like not really an old blood, but like a guy who's already there and done it, right? And so like 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 a matchup like this, it reminds me of like the in the past the greats, right? Like in my opinion, in terms of like talent, like head to head type of matchup magnitude wise, like I compare this to like a Hakeem versus Shaq, a Duncan versus Garnett, right? Stuff like that where you got two a young fella, right, and then a guy who's more established in the league, right? But they're going head to head like they've been dueling each other for years, right? And I feel like nowadays we don't get to see that often, right? Like not often do you get a Magic versus Bird where they go back to back to back, and it's always a crazy game from both of them, right? And so it was just a refreshment, man. It was just a refreshment, and you know what? Like, take it away because I know you love Wemby. You've been on this Wemby train, right? So let me talk to us about your thoughts, man.
I mean, like you said, like where you got both guys that are, and it was clear as day, right? They came there to compete, right? Both Jokic, showing Wemby, listen, it ain't your time yet, right? And Wemby, up for the challenge, right? He didn't shoot the best, right? But regardless, even with, and this is the craziest, even with like shooting not the best, right? He still almost had a quadruple double, bro.
Yeah. Oh my god, man.
Like I believe he was one block and like two steals
Yeah, something like
away
that.
from a quadruple double. He's a rookie, bro. Like playing against Nikola Jokic, like this is crazy. Again, like this guy is an alien, right? Where you like every single night, no matter who he's playing, he can put up a stat line like this, like where it's almost inevitable he's gonna get a quadruple double in his career. Like I feel as though it's inevitable. But again, Jokic, the veteran player showing him like, here's 42 and 16, right? Like, listen, and that's one of the things I've always respected about the NBA, especially this season. Like these bigs, they here to talk about Victor Wembanyama. They here to hype or whatever. And every single time that they play him, they're up for the challenge. Whether it's Embiid, whether it's Jokic, whether it's Şengün, right? Whether it's Sabonis, all these guys hear the chatter. And I feel as though that's good for the game, man. Where these guys want to compete, right? They want to see, all right, you know what I mean? They say you this good. Let me see, right? Like where it's very reminiscent of days past, where guys are really going at it. And again, from Wemby's perspective, to be a rookie and to, he's taking his fair share of licks, right? Fair share of getting dunked on and all that, but he's still relentless. He still is playing his game. He's still up for the challenge. And again, I feel as though it's just so good for basketball, man. Where again, like this, and a lot of these guys, and they may or may not be thinking like this, right? Where they're like, you know what, I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna show him. But in a way, what they don't realize what they're doing is that you're only making him better.
Yes.
Right? Where he's going through all this in his rookie season. So imagine year 4, where he's seen this for 50th time. He's seen this for the 100th time. Where from a fan perspective, it makes me excited, right? Where in my career, I mean, not my career, my lifetime, like all the great players of my era, I haven't really got to see from beginning to end, right?
Yes.
I feel as though, and a lot of other players I feel like this of, but when Wembanyama, I feel like we're literally watching from start to finish, right? Where again, I just can't, like, this is the worst Victor Wembanyama we will ever see, barring injury. This is the worst Victor Wembanyama. He almost had a quadruple double, bro. Crazy.
And it just goes to show, right? Like, and you get this a lot. You can tell who are the best rookies that will become great players in the NBA if, when you're a rookie, right, the best thing to see a sign of them being great is if the best players in the league, continue to go at them, because it shows a sign of respect, right? It shows a sign of respect to the saying, yo, I know you're a young fella, and you got a lot of talk, but there's still some things you still haven't seen. So I'm gonna give you a pump fake here and there. I'm gonna give you a little poster here, let you know, hey, I'm here too. I'm here too, right? It might not be your time now, but it's my, but it will be soon, right? And it's just amazing to see, like I said, like it's just veterans league players in the league right now, especially like KD, right?
Yeah.
KD giving his props a lot to Wemby, and so it's like, it's definitely going to be very, very exciting and interesting to see how Wemby is going to progress throughout the his whole entire career, because we're here to see it from start to finish. And that said, I mean, there's like another topic I want to talk about. At least for me, I want to talk about how things are shaking up in terms of the standings, right? Like, you want to talk about the East? Shoot, the Bucks, they dropped the game to the Wizards, right? As funny as it sounds, they dropped the game to Wizards, to the GOAT, Jordan Poole. You know what I'm saying?
It was a pool party.
Yeah, well, it was a pool party, and it will be a Jalen Green party too over there too. But we'll talk about that later. We got so the Bucks, they currently have the second seed, right? And so, but yet they have to they have to watch out, because there's still a good chunk of games left. It's a week and a half of games left, right? And you got the Cavs. They're like 1.5 games back. You got the Magic, that are 3 games back, and the Knicks are 3 games back. I'm pretty sure the Magic just won, so they're even closer, right? And it'd be crazy to say if the Magic somehow got the second seed over the Bucks. That'd be crazy. But we've seen crazier stuff. I'll say that, right? And so but then you look in the West, right? In terms of the 4th seed, I remember we did an MVP ranking video, right? And you said that depending on how this rest of the season shakes up, the MVP voting could shift a little bit, right? And currently, right now, the Clippers, Mavs, and Pelicans, they're tied up. They're neck and neck for the 4th seed, right? The Clippers obviously got the 4th seed right now, but right about, like, the 5th seed is the Mavs, the 6th seed is the Pelicans, right? And I'm pretty sure, I think the Magic just won against the Pelicans, so if that's true, I'll have to look it up. But if that's true, that they dropped the game, and now the Magic had the lead in terms of getting a chance at the 4th seed, right? And so that shakes up a lot for Luka and what he wants to possibly get an MVP award and then some, and obviously home court advantage and stuff like that, right? And so you look at then the 1st seed. I think 1st seed. I feel like we've come in terms in a sense that like we think the Nuggets are probably going to get it, but shoot, the Timberwolves and the Thunder, they're right there, right? Because if the Nuggets drop a game, the Thunder and the Timberwolves can have jump at the chance to get back at them because they're only half a game behind. They're only half a game behind, man. So it only takes one loss to leave the door open.
Yep.
Right, and so yeah, it's just pretty interesting in terms of standings, man.
Yeah, I mean, a similar, stay on the topic about standings and the playoff race. First, let me start my topic off with this. LeBron James has now passed Oscar Schmidt for the most points of all time in all of basketball. Like, all of basketball. This is crazy. The man could possibly play like 3 more seasons, right? So, you talk about unbreakable records.
Yes.
I feel as though we're getting closer and closer to this record being the most unbreakable record in all of basketball. But then just his own personal play, last 3 games, he's averaging 29.3 points per game, 6 rebounds, 7.7 assists, including a 40 ball. He's shooting 10 for 12 from the 3-point line in the last 3 games, right? And the Lakers themselves in the last 20 games are 14-6, and they're only 1.5 games back of both the 7th and the 8th seed. So the Lakers are hitting their stride in the time where they need to hit their stride, right?
Yep.
Sometimes it's not about how you start the season, it's how you end it. And I feel as though the Lakers are ending it the way that you want to end it headed into the playoffs, especially if they do have to, play in the play-in, where at the very least they can get the highest seeded play-in, where they only have to win 1 game, and they're already on a roll.
Yes.
Compared to some of the teams they're in contention with, both the Warriors, the Suns, and the Kings, they have the easiest schedule by win-loss when it comes to opponents. So it'd be very, very interesting to see if they're able to go on a little run here going into the playoffs, like
they did last year.
Like they did last year. And I ultimately don't believe that they're a championship level team. But if I'm the Timberwolves, if I'm the Thunder, if I'm any of these high seed teams, I do not want to see LeBron James and Anthony Davis in round 1. I just don't.
Sir.
I just don't. Sir. Especially if I'm one of these young teams like the OKC Thunder. If the Thunder and the Lakers match up in the first round, I don't know who I take. I'm going to be honest with you. I do not know who I take.
That's tough.
So, like I said, the Lakers are hitting their stride at the perfect time. They're peaking at the perfect time. Again, only 1.5 games back of the Suns and the Kings. They're both tied at 44 and 31. A lot of basketball left to play. And again, LeBron James, man, he's been on the heater lately. So I feel as though it's safe to say that he's locked in, right? So, along with, D'Lo's amazing play all season long, especially after the All-Star break. AD, there's been a lot of jokes about, not being available ever. Last 2 seasons, he's been the model of consistency. He's been the model of availability, right? So, obviously, having him play all these games, Austin Reeves has not quite taken that step that we thought he would. But, again, he is a very good piece, both off the bench or as a complimentary ball handler to LeBron. So, I feel as though this team is obviously weathered and veteran. So, again, they're going to be a very tough out in the playoffs if they're able to make it.
Speaking about the Thunder, possibly be a match with the Lakers. Hey man, I don't think you've been saying this. I haven't heard you said it. There might be hope. There might be hope. Joel fucking Embiid is back. Joel fucking Embiid is back, man. And yes, sir. Fella. Yes, sir. The process.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Sixers. Got a tough win against the Thunder at home. Shoot. Embiid on his first day back, he played pretty solid. I mean, he had his ups and downs, but he was the best player on the court for the Sixers. There's no doubt. Mm-hmm. Right? It goes to show that when you have this type of impact, he got the steal at the end of the game. He got the steal at the end of the game, and that pretty much sealed the game.
Yep.
Right? When you got a guy that can play defense like he does and can also score the way he does, I think these next few games, like to end the season off, if he's able to get back into form, right, and able to I'm not sure about the standings for you guys, but if you guys are able to get back to 16, possibly, I don't know, I'm not sure about that, but if let's just say hypothetically they are able to, and Embiid plays the rest of the regular season games, and he's hot, and he gets some rest, that might be a plan for success. So I don't, anything can happen. Anything can happen, right? And so
true. Two things. Yes,
you don't want to believe it.
Excited that Joel Embiid is back, and I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but let's temper expectations a little bit.
Okay.
I definitely feel as though, very similar to the Lakers, I feel like we will be a tough first round matchup.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't see this team going anywhere with or without Joel Embiid this season.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm looking for is, again, us to be a tough out and to get some of our guys some more reps together, right? Because especially with having Joel out, our team is completely different. So with guys like Buddy Hield, with the campaign, you need continuity. So hopefully for the rest of the season and going to the playoffs, we can get that continuity to carry over to next season, right? That's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't really have high expectations or whatever. I'm just looking forward to finally seeing 21 back on the court. Right, Maxey is also out right now, so again, getting our players back healthy and getting those guys better continuity for next season, that's what's most important to me. And like you said, you get a ticket to the dance, who knows what happens. But yeah, I know a lot of fans right now, they're going crazy. They feel as though we're going to the finals. Pump the brakes a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. And it goes to show that when you see your best player come back and he's putting on performance like this on his first day back off an injury, hey man, anything can happen. People go crazy, and that's a part of sports, right? That's a part of sports, right? And that's why we love. That's why we cheer for the teams and for the players that we do, right? And it brings me to to the end of this pod and say shout out to you guys, man. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a previous video, right? But I checked the statistics for our YouTube videos, and we surpassed 700 total views. That's it. And this thing has been going on for a couple months now, right? And it's our channel has been on a rise, right? And we wouldn't be here without you guys. And I know we're not the biggest channel out there yet, but similar, I'm just calling Kai from the videos he said in the past, you guys give us, fuel to our fire, man. Right. And so you guys keep us going. You guys keep us motivated to pump out videos, to pump out reels on TikTok or Instagram, stuff like that. Right. And so, it's all you guys, letting us, do the thing we do. And, yeah.
Yeah. To piggyback off of Cochran, man, as I always say, you guys put the batter in our back, right? We're not feeling up to it or whatever. We pump out a video and to get the reaction you guys give us, it definitely lifts our spirits. It definitely makes us feel as though we're doing we can do this, right? So
yes,
I definitely am appreciative of the small community that we're starting to build. And, it's only up from here. So with that being said, keep doing what you guys are doing, like, commenting, subscribing, sharing. We'll have all our social media links, linked in the bio. And with that being said, it's been No Bullshit Podcast, man. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yes, sir. Peace.